see you come in there.
So tell us your name.
I'm Garrett Chappell.
And what is this beautiful machine right beside me called?
1986 Toyota Corolla SR5. It has a full GTS swap. The engine and everything like that was done by Daniel Page, and the motor was tuned by Triple S Motorsports by a very grumpy Asian man that works there. He's just a genius of Weber carburetors, and it's legitimately the project was at a complete fucking standstill until I ran into him, and I apologize if anybody finds this racist, but like he's just like, why you buy DCOE 48s? It's like, well, I plan on doing a 200 horsepower build, so I need to have the big ones. He's like, yeah, but your engine stock, no compression, right? No compression. Your Venturi's too big. Basically, he kind of just told me that the motor was like, it's never going to run right. I don't know what you're trying to do. And he's just like, you realize to get 200 horsepower, I can do this. I have built these. I have built a bunch of these. But it's at least $10,000 to do this. At least on top of what you have now. It's like, yeah, I know. Why? And I was kind of stunned by the question, right? Because it's just like, dude, this is how you make money. Like, what do you mean why? It's just like, just take my money. And he's just, because he legitimately was like, why would you waste your money doing this? And I was like, well, you familiar with N2 Atlantic? Yeah, go on. And as soon as he heard N2 spec, that's what I'm going for, the N2 Atlantic build for the 86s like they used to have over in Japan. He lit up because he used to build those motors. Not specifically for those people, but the same style of motor. It was really cool because him and I were kind of like, instantly he was like, oh wow, you a lot of money and you really dumb. But you won't build this, so I'll help you build it. Just, I hope you have deep pockets. I had these carburetors off and I had them in his shop, and he, like, this is how good this guy is. Like, he literally took the carburetor and he lifted it up and he looked down the barrel of the carburetors inside and he's, Venturi's too big. How, what do you mean? Oh my god, do you know what a Venturi is? I was just like, well, okay, I don't know much, but I know what a fucking Venturi is. And he's just like, what, these too big? Your engine stock, right? Yeah. What? They're too big. You can't use these, they're too big. Okay, where do I get them? Same place you bought your carburetors, probably, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Try to make any power out of these things. NA is a lot of money and it's a lot of time and it's very frustrating. I've had this car for 3 or 4 years now. It's only running properly now. It started with 4AC. Like I said, this was the SR5. It didn't have this engine, it didn't have that transmission, it didn't have that rear end, it didn't have that drive shaft, it didn't have that anything. And none of this was here whenever I bought this car. I bought it bone stock with an SR5 in it and just threw some money at it to see what I could do. And I don't know if there's actually any footage of this thing drifting on the channel with that in it. Maybe go through some old Facebook footage and find it, maybe. Cut to that if it's there. A lot of people will come in and they say that, you know, they have this motor, they have this, that, and the other thing. I want to make this much power. I thought I was doing better, except when I came in, my MSD box. I had MSD 6AL. That's it. Those are designed to work with EFI. And it takes the ignition timing signal from the computer and feeds it into here, and that's what it tells the distributor what to do. So it'll give you a cold start and then ramp up your timing as you go. I came in thinking I knew what I was doing, and Carb was there for like 3 fucking months. Because this was inadequate. I had another one that was just a 6AL. This is a programmable 6AL too, so you can do the timing. Like by the way, anybody that's trying to build one of these, this one, like there should be a part number, PN6530. If you don't have this doesn't work. Period. It just doesn't work because it'll either idle and work relatively well at idle, but as soon as you go into the higher RPMs, it's going to fuck off. It's not going to work because you have no timing advance. Because whenever you have carburetors, there's no computer telling there was a vacuum advance or something that works on there, and also you lose vacuum whenever you use these because they literally sucking straight into the engine. There's not much vacuum. So you have to have this, and you have to have it tell that what to do. This teaches that what timing advance to run, and it's not a cheap process to do. You have to kind of have somebody that's in the know and how to do that kind of stuff. Also, in case anybody's looking at this shit and wondering what this is for, if you don't run this, you will melt your distributor and you will likely overheat your brakes if you're going to run. And this is kind of like, I don't know if anybody watches Hoonigan, but it's kind of like Hertz Torque Stallion, like his RX-7 rotary build. Like it works now. More on the setup. I'm running stock cams. I've got uprated valve springs. The rev limit's right now 8200. I could probably go higher, but at that point, the engine will take it, but you're not making any power. The cams are well and outside of their happy zone. There's not much point revving it that high because stock motor made max power at like 6,800 RPM. It'd rev out to 75, but it's more or less just fun to be able to rev it to 8,000. There's not really much reason to do it. It's yeah, noises, and I don't have a reason for that. I like revving it that high. But yeah, stock cams, I've got SuperTech uprated valve springs that, when I say uprated, I don't know exactly what they're weighted for. They're a little bit strong. They're new and they're stronger, and that pretty much will run you almost any cam you want to run. These headers are mid-range headers, so they're not shorties, they're not long tube, they're mid-range. And a lot of people wonder why, if you're trying to have a high revving, like the plan is to have 10,000 RPM into the motor at some point, but mid-range are good because these cars don't make a lot of power in the mid-range or the bottom end. They don't wake up, like the car is really only happy above 3,000 RPM, even cruising. It's not really happy below 2,000 RPM or 3,000 RPM. So the mid-range ones, you're not going to get the maximum power out of it, but you're going to get the mid-range torque, which is a really big deal. It really, really helps. And throttle response is way better. It's not waiting to get up into the RPMs. I'm running just a stock T50. I'm really pissed because the car makes power now, except I'm still on a one-tire fire open diff, so basically I can just walk on it in third on the highway and it's just going to light up the tire. It's not going to go anywhere because it won't get traction. It just spins, but it is also winter where I live. So aluminum catch can, that was built by Daniel Page. He actually made that sit sideways. It's supposed to stand up if you actually look at it there. It's supposed to stand up, and he actually put in this here so you can actually see how full it is. Like, he tapped those himself, put it in sideways. I was really attached to this cute little filter I had on the 4AC, and that's just a breather for that, and he kept it just because he knew how much it meant to me. So suspension's pretty serious in the car. Everything is T3 from front to back. So I've got T3 evolved coilovers, 7K front, and they're 4K rear. Anybody that wants to go above the stock RPMs and stuff like that, you're going to need something like this. This is actually an oversized pulley for your water pump, because these water pumps were designed to run at a maximum of 7,500 RPM and not stay there forever. But if you're going to run these in a race application where sometimes if your car is going to rev out to 10,000 RPM, 6,000 is going to be your normal, I've just shifted from one gear to the next. So these sit at a really high speed, and when they get to like, I think it's 8,500, maybe 9,000, you actually start to cavitate inside of there, which means it's spinning so fast that it's sucking in air, and you get air bubbles, and then it overheats everything. So with this, it literally slows this pump down a bit, so you get better heat in the wintertime, and it's never going to overheat the car, but it's going to make sure that you actually get better heating. And for the most part, if you're going to have a race car and you don't have a big red or something like that, well, spend the money.